second episode of Eating Right with Angel. I am so thankful for all of the love that y'all showed me in my first video, so I will definitely try to make this one a little bit better and a little bit shorter. Thanks for all of the feedback. I have taken it all into consideration. So today I'll be preparing for you a spicy spinach and mushroom cream served with chicken and wild rice. So as you can see, I already have some water boiling here, and I just like to use boxed wild rice. I got it from Whole Foods. It's organic, it's long grain, it's one of my favorite rice. It's a cheat, but it's my favorite kind of rice. So it wants us to go ahead and add in about a tablespoon of olive oil. Perfect. And then it wants us to go ahead and add in the rice and bring it to a boil. It's coming to a nice boil here. So now we're gonna go ahead and add in the pack seasoning that came inside of the box. And there we go. Beautiful. Perfect. So we're just gonna go ahead and give this a little stir here. Have a nice boil going. Perfect. So now I'm gonna go ahead and set this on my stove over here and let it finish cooking, because by the time we finish the chicken and the cream, the rice will be ready and then it'll be time to plate. Okay, welcome back. So right here we do have our rice going. That is going to be about 20 to 25 minutes before that'll be done, but this will be about the same amount of time, so it's going to finish perfectly. Right now we have this on a really high heat because we're going to go ahead and sear up our chicken breasts, and then we're going to set those to the side, and then we're going to work on our spinach and cream sauce. Perfect. So I am going to go ahead and add some olive oil. Perfect. You always want to add olive oil to a nice hot pan. You don't want to ever add it when it's cold. Perfect. I'm going to go ahead and move this around a little bit. Beautiful. So we're going to go ahead and add our chicken breast. I have already salt and peppered them. We're going to place it skin side down. Perfect. And we don't want to disturb them. Like once they're in, let them go ahead and sear on one side all the way, and then you're going to turn them about 3 to 5 minutes. Beautiful. Always make sure to wash your hands once you are dealing with raw chicken or any type of raw protein. So whether it's fish, red meat, pork, anything like that, always remember to wash your hands if you have handled it. Beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my tongs here. Sure it's getting a nice color. Yes, getting a beautiful color. Welcome back. So our chicken is done now. So we're going to go ahead and lower this heat just a little bit because we're going to be using this pan again. So we're going to go ahead and start removing the chicken pieces off of the heat and set them to the side so that they can go ahead and rest while we go ahead and make our cream sauce. Perfect. Now this is my favorite part after I get done browning chicken. I always love to get all of the bits off of the bottom of the pan. So I'm going to go ahead and add some onions that I already have chopped up here. Perfect. I love the smell of onions cooking. It's like one of my favorite smells on this planet. Beautiful. So we want these to go ahead and get translucent. And then I am going to go ahead and add my mushrooms as well. I personally like my mushrooms to be a little bit more done than maybe some of you out there may. And also, if you are allergic to mushrooms, you don't have to add mushrooms to this dish. I am just a really big fan of mushrooms. Beautiful. So this dish actually reminds me of my grandmother. When I was little, I always loved to eat cream of mushroom chicken. Even though I couldn't stomach the actual cream part of like Campbell's, you know, out of the can cream of mushroom soup. Yeah, she would always use that whenever we were making our cream of mushroom chicken. And this is just a really good memory that I have, but it's gonna have my new fun adult life twist to it. This smells so good. I honestly could just eat this just like this. Like, smells absolutely divine. Beautiful. So the last thing I'm going to add is going to be some spinach. Perfect. So we're just going to let this wilt down just a little bit. And what I like about spinach is that it really does absorb a lot of, you know, of the water and the oils that are naturally coming off of the mushrooms and off of the onions. So it's going to nicely clean the bottom of my pan. And it's going to make for really easy cleanup aside from having a non-stick pan. And this smells so good. So I'm going to go ahead and show you this. This has a lot of moisture. As you can see, mushrooms have a lot of moisture inside. Oh yeah, beautiful. So everything is kind of cooked down nicely. Perfect. And so since this is going ahead and cooking down, I'm going to go ahead and add just a little bit of flour, just so that this can go ahead and help thicken up the heavy cream. I really like my sauce to be really thick, so it's going to be really coated nicely on the chicken. So I like to add the flour first, just so that it goes ahead and cooks out the flour taste that it has. And as you can see, it already starts to tighten up all of the moisture that was already in the pan anyways. Beautiful. And so the last step is we're going to go ahead and add our heavy cream. Beautiful. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and bring this up to a boil just so that we can go ahead and incorporate the flour into the heavy cream and so that there are no lumps. And that's another reason why I went ahead and added the flour first, because the only way to properly add flour to any kind of liquid is if you go ahead and incorporate the flour into a liquid. So you would have to make a slurry, which just means you're going to add your flour to maybe a little bit of water or a little bit of heavy cream prior to adding it in, so that when you add it, it doesn't lump up. And the last and final ingredient we're going to add is the spicy portion. So this is going to be some cayenne pepper, red pepper flakes, thyme, and just a little bit of salt and pepper as well as chili powder. There we go. Beautiful. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this in. Adds really nice heat and flavor to it. My grandpa raised me on red pepper flakes and we put it on everything. So it's gonna be nice and spicy, have really good heat. It's gonna turn this just a little bit like a light pink color just because of the seasoning being incorporated with the heavy cream there. Beautiful. And this is almost done. Perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and let this come to a boil, and then I'm going to let it simmer for about probably 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll be ready to plate and we'll be done. So welcome to another Tips with Angel session. Today I have 3 tips for you. So the first one was last time in my video I did look up alternatives for heavy cream. So you can mix rice milk or soy milk with olive oil. So you can do 2/3 cups of that type of milk with another 1/3 cup of olive oil, and that'll give you the same benefit that you were looking for a substitute with heavy cream. However, you don't want to use that if you are whipping. You do have to use strictly heavy cream just because it won't give you that same fluffiness when you are making whipped cream. And then another tip is before I started cooking, I hated making rice. Like me and rice had some really difficult times back in the day. So some tips that I learned while I was making rice was that if you ever find yourself where your rice is too mushy, you can easily spread it out onto a baking sheet and pop it in a 350-degree oven, and then let that bake off for about 15 minutes until at least some of the water absorbs, and then you'll be able to have nice fluffy rice all over again. And then my last tip is the chicken breast. So for some reason these days the chicken breasts are like this thick. Like I'm not kidding. Like they're this thick. So what I like to do is I always like to slice them in half, or even sometimes slice them in 3 parts, just because they're so big, and you also get more meat out of, or more servings out of, just cutting the meat into those small pieces. So those are my 3 tips for this session, and then we'll be back later to see the final product. I would like to personally take this time to thank each of my top patrons and sponsors for this week's episode. So first, I would like to start off with my dear mother, Hillary Stephenson, for her generous donation, as well as one of my lifelong mentors, Ariel Dickerson. And then for my sponsors this week, I would like to thank Food and Groovin' by my friend Christopher Campbell, and then also my other friend Justice Brewer Bryant, who now is starting his own business of the Tiny Teacup Cafe. Links to all of their websites are in the description below. And thank you all again. If you all decide to sponsor me or become one of my patrons for any week's episodes, just click my other link and just shoot me an email and I'll be happy to follow up. Thank you so much. Welcome back. We are finally in the home stretch for our lovely spicy spinach mushroom cream with chicken and wild rice. Right now I am going to go ahead and turn off the heat here, because this is turned into just a lovely cream. Beautiful. Now I'm going to go ahead and bring the rice over so we can go ahead and start plating. Nice and hot. Beautiful. And we're going to go ahead and let that sit. We're going to go ahead and add the chicken back to the dish here. Beautiful. Go ahead and get it nice and coated in here. I cannot wait to eat this. So I'm going to go ahead and grab a plate, and then we can start on plating. Plate. Gonna get a little bit of the rice here, nice fluffy rice, which I always love. And then we're going to go ahead and get a piece of the chicken. Beautiful. You can go ahead and scrape up some of this extra cream sauce here. Oh, this smells absolutely delicious. And there you have it, a beautiful spicy spinach and mushroom cream with chicken and wild rice. I'm going to go ahead and have a bite here, and I will catch you all next episode.